Hey everybody, today we're going to do a preview of the South Carolina presidential primary, as well as take a look at the state of the race overall. We'll even see what the Democrats are up to at the end. But I was on the fence about even doing this video, and I think the reason is obvious. It looks like Trump is pretty much running away with this thing. Nikki Haley is still in it, but it's no fun making a video if there's absolutely no competition. And then we're going to have Super Tuesday. That's going to be on March 5th. So let's take a stroll through what's happening. Here's the current delegate tracker after Nevada and the Virgin Islands. Trump is at 63, Nikki Haley at 17, everybody else pretty much out of this thing. So the next main contest is February 24th in South Carolina. And it's technically the best case scenario for Nikki Haley. This is her home state. She was the governor here. So theoretically, voters there would give Haley a ton of support. And she probably would get that support if it were not for Donald Trump. So if we scroll through this Wikipedia page, we can go down to the endorsements. And Nikki Haley does have some, but given this is her home state, you would expect there to be a lot more than this. If we go down to Donald Trump, he's got a lot more, and he's got a lot more that are high profile. He's got both U.S. Senators, Lindsey Graham and Tim Scott, and he has the current governor, Henry McMaster, who was the lieutenant governor under Nikki Haley, but he's coming out in support of Donald Trump. So Trump has a ton here. You can go down here and take a look at the map. This is the endorsements among those in the South Carolina House of Representatives. I think this could probably be updated, but Haley only has 3 of these endorsements. So what about the polling? That's going to be the main thing. Well, once it became just a 2-person race between Haley and Trump, then there was always the possibility that Haley could have a gain. Right now in the aggregate, Trump is in the low 60s. Haley is hovering around 30. So that's at least a 30-point advantage for Trump. Now, I usually like to leave the door open for possibilities, and it's technically possible. The polls could be wrong, and Haley could surge in the final week. That just seems extremely unlikely. Maybe some news comes up with Trump, and that costs him some support. But given it's a 30-point gap, it seems extremely unlikely that Haley is going to get anywhere close to Trump. And you could visualize the trends a little bit better on Real Clear Politics. Over the past few weeks, both Trump and Haley have increased their support. The only problem is the gap between Haley and Trump has either not changed or it might have even widened slightly. So I get it, Haley wanted to stay in to go through her home state. She was hoping maybe the winds would change since New Hampshire, where she gets endorsements. Trump has some stumbles and she finds a way to break through. It doesn't look like it happened. You might remember in Nevada, Haley actually lost to none of these candidates. And she lost it pretty bad too. She only got 30% of the vote. Now maybe this race didn't really mean anything, but no matter how you try to spin it, the support is just not there for Haley, and it's not even close. New Hampshire was her best state, but even that one, Trump still won it kind of easily. So Haley is probably going to have to end up dropping out after South Carolina. She could stick around through Super Tuesday, but if you don't win your home state and you don't even get close, what good is it going to do seeing what happens in other states? Now, there are some Haley fans out there. There's an argument to be made that she might be stronger than Trump in the general election. Some of the polling does seem to show that. It's tough to say what would happen in 7 or 8 months in the general election, but either way, it looks like Haley is going to be done, and I've heard she would still endorse Donald Trump. That doesn't really surprise me. I would also expect that as soon as Haley is no longer a competitor for Trump, that he's going to change his tune and say positive things about her again. It's possible he even picks her as his running mate. Now, other political people that are going to be out, Ronna McDaniel, chair of the Republican National Committee. It looks like she's expected to step down after South Carolina. Here's an article about that here. Trump is looking for Michael Whatley. He is the chair of the North Carolina GOP, but like with anything related to Trump, there's going to be stories about how it's controversial. And he also talks about appointing Laura Trump as the co-chair, and that is his daughter-in-law. Now that, I think, is an obvious bad move from an optics perspective. It's just going to look like pure nepotism, that you couldn't find somebody else outside of your own immediate family. But either way, I think most Republicans think McDaniel is a complete failure, and they would hope for an upgrade in Michael Whatley. Who knows how much controversy or pushback there's actually going to be. But all this has been about the Republicans. What is happening with the Democrats? Well, even though Trump is not debating and there's minimal happening in the Republican primary, there is far less happening with the Democrats. We already had Marianne Williamson drop out. Dean Phillips, he's still hanging on, kind of like Nikki Haley, but he is a complete pariah in the Democratic Party. He's not going to get any favorable coverage. I'm not even sure which ballots he's on, but the next contest for the Democrats is going to be in Michigan. Here's the Wikipedia page, and there's not even any polling this year. It's pretty much Biden or bust at this point. Most voters do not want Biden. They think he's too old. We've all heard the stories and seen the clips. The last poll from December has Biden at 79%. Phillips and Williamson were in single digits, 6% undecided. But if you are wondering if there's a chance it's not going to be Biden, it's always good to take a glance at the markets. Here, Biden is at 74. Second place, it's Gavin Newsom at 16, and a week or two ago, Biden was in the mid to high 80s. But ever since the special counsel report that came out that showed Biden has memory issues, his support has come down a little bit. It is always astounding to me that if Trump is such a threat for the Democrats and to the country, and if Biden appears so weak, I don't know how they didn't go with a different candidate or at least had a serious open primary. There's definitely an appetite there, but it just didn't happen. It's similar with the Republicans, except Trump does have a significant portion of his base. But again, this is going to be the matchup that most Americans don't want. It could go either way. One side is going to be completely crushed. If there was any way to change course, it would have been before now in these primaries. But I'll leave it here on this New York Times article. This explains the mess on the primary calendar. We've got New Hampshire that did not include Biden on the ballot. South Carolina has 2 primaries. Nevada has a primary and a caucus. It's that kind of stuff that might have caused some lower turnout. I do wish it were a little more streamlined, and I could see the confusion causing some reduction in turnout. But I think the bigger thing is the party voters really did not want to make a change. Plus, Biden and Trump were not in any debates. The Democrats didn't even really have much of a debate. But this is where things are at. There's still a lot of time left. Who knows what's going to happen? But that's an overview of what's coming up at the primaries, especially in South Carolina. So let me know in the comments, what do you think of the state of this presidential race on either side? Is anything going to change? When is Haley going to drop out? How about Super Tuesday? Is anything going to change with Biden? Let me know down below on your way out. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Join if you'd like to support the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.